Всем привет! У нас комьюнити-мит по Cozystack, и сегодня мы собираемся обсудить несколько вещей. Во-первых, хотел бы рассказать, что у нас появилась поддержка. Еще пока что не появилась поддержка RM, но потестировал, запустил Cozystack на Raspberry Pi. Есть ребята, которые делают прикольный девайс. Короче, такая вот платка, туда цепляется Raspberry Pi, и можно из нее кластер собрать. В общем, познакомился с Робертом, который является основателем этой компании. Он дал несколько девайсов на потестить, на чем я успешно развернул Cozystack. Как оказалось, есть несколько интересных моментов. Сейчас я про них расскажу. Это не наш. Короче, у нас все имиджи, которые сейчас билдятся в рамках нашего репозитория, они не билдятся для RM. Для того, чтобы они билдились, нужно передать им конкретный контекст сборки. Привет, Никит.
Привет, привет.
Для этого надо указать платформы, для каких платформ мы будем билдить этот имидж. После этого Docker Buildix все сделает самостоятельно. Единственное, что для того, чтобы это работало, нужно билдить не в стандартном докер-контексте, а сделать специальный контекст для билдикса. После этого он сам самостоятельно запускает виртуальные машины и билдит докер-файлы. И вот результирующий докер-имидж, который отправляется по конкретному адресу, то есть там registry tag, он становится доступен для любой из репозиториев. Вот, запустил базовый вообще. Okay, let's switch English. Hi, Kingdom.
Hello.
We're just talking that we tried to start Cozystack on RAM, and it was half successful.
Oh,
So
terrific. I have a
yeah,
couple of Raspberry Pi clusters, so I'd love to do that.
yeah. So I just created an PR which adds additional support for RAM. It's about actually adding platform for building images. So we have make files with some images which we built. And for Docker Buildix, we can provide the platform, and it will build image which will be able to run on both of them. Then it will be done automatically. So you can just specify the same tag, and according to your architecture, it will download the right image. So I rebuilt just single image for Cozystack, which holding all the Helm charts and Grafana dashboards, and installed Cozystack on a cluster of 3 Raspberry Pis in distro-hosted mode. That means that there are no CNI and no kube proxy replacement. The only image that wasn't working here was etcd operator, but we were considering to run just it as distro, so it is not critical for now. But I think according to this PR, we can start preparing the bundle for RAM, or not even bundle. It can be used for the same bundle can be used for running on Raspberry Pis.
So you could have a cluster that would be a cross-architecture cluster.
Yeah, I think that even should work.
Because that would be the ideal thing. I know if you're running a Raspberry Pi cluster, I've just heard at least one person say in the last 24 hours that you can't do etcd encrypted on Raspberry Pi 4, which is a shame, but
I don't know. We use the same Talos Linux image, which is prepared for RAM already, and actually has the same features. So I think etcd encryption should be working there. Or what kind of etcd you're talking about?
It was a performance issue. He said it wasn't fast enough to do.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, I also found some performance issues. The first one is I wasn't able to run ZFS, so I used LVM, but every command was somehow stuck for a while. After all, it created about 8 different PVCs, and everything was provisioned just fine with LinStore.
Great.
I'm not sure if it is really useful for Raspberry Pis, but there is big attention of industry for using RAM servers. So I think that should be interesting idea for moving forward. That's it. That's what about RAM. So if somebody wants to start playing with this, please take a look at this PR. It is written there how to run it, and
now we can use our Cozystack on Ampere processors. Maybe we can try to get one of the servers in the Hasner data center and try to start.
yeah, I think it might work. Is it also RAM based?
Ampere, yes. It's natively ARM.
So how it works for now? I would say that right now we have no business interest in supporting this, but we just made this basic support for RAM. So we made a proof of concept. So it works, and I will have a speech about this next week in Košice Cloud Native Meetup. So environment is prepared for this. Now it is up to community. If community want to add this support, we can provide all the guides how or our help of this information, how to exactly adding this support. And this pull request is the first point. After it get merged, I think at least Cozystack container can be running on RAM servers, and I think all the new images which we will add into the repo, we will also consider providing this flag by default, so we will not override it later. But for now, there is no exact consumer who would like to use it or who would like to support it.
And if we talk about cryptography, there is specific models for ARM-based platforms. We can need to research this.
I'm totally okay about this. I'm just talking from the view of business perspective. If you have such clients and if you want to put your strengths for adding support for RAM, you're free to do this. That's it. I just telling you that right now we are not going to continue with this issue more than adding the basic support. Okay, and I also wanted to talk, probably we have nothing to talk at agenda. Let's move to open floor. And the first question is, should we add additional templating tool? It would be nice to generate some charts and maybe things like this and generate it from a single source like Cozy config map, the amount of Helm code, bit.
Yeah, this is my comment, so I can explain a little bit.
Yeah, please.
So the idea here is that the amount of Helm code is a really frightening thing for me. And I think that it could be rewritten in some programming language, maybe Go or something like that. Or maybe some templating tool which supports such things.
You mean to generate files like that?
Yeah, so we
Or-
have this first huge block which parses config map and extracts some values from it. And I think it's a bit scary to do it with Helm and not with some programming language.
I
So we don't
understand
have.
your point
Uh-huh.
of view, and I think that right now the Helm templates works just well because they're easy to extend and everybody understands them. Not everybody, but almost the users of the platform are admins, and they're more prefer working with Helm charts than with some code. I don't mind if there will be some operator which can be configured in declarative format. For example, we can create a Cozystack namespaces operator and just specify what kind of namespaces should be created, so it will operate those namespaces. But this would take more time for implementing this, and I think right now there are more important things to do is, for example, how to update Talus together with the platform. Because right now it is only manual action.
Okay. So I was thinking of that as a part of my work with the Docker images and stuff. And for now, it is not an easy thing to specify, for example, a registry cluster-wide, and then somehow template it in Helm charts or whatever. And maybe image pool secrets, because Docker registries sometimes come with some credentials they need. So I was thinking that we could move some to some templating too.
That makes sense.
Okay.
I would say generators are a really good thing. If you know such thing as systemd, they won on the market just because they started using generators who were generating configs for old initd files. So all the things just started working out of the box. In this way, I think it is a good idea for generating such templates and store them in a registry. I like this idea because the generated code and YAML files can be simply reviewed, and you can see what exactly will be added to the platform. So I agree that this sheet can be replaced by the generated code. If you have an idea how to do this, you're free to do this. The only problem is that exactly this YAML is rendered on runtime, and it takes bundle name from config map, and after that it generates the configuration. So I'm not sure about exactly this YAML file, but I think some of them like
yeah, I was talking about the platform chart, and it has some scary code in it, like Helm releases file and something like that.
Yeah, the main idea of platform chart is just chart, which can be simply updated, and you don't have to rebuild anything. It just templates itself every 60 seconds. And you can try it from your PC just by running make show, make diff, make apply. So you'll see what exactly changes in your cluster. Regarding your second question about how to provide registry to the images, that also there were discussion with Flux City guys because they wanted to provide enterprise-ready images which are available just by the providing specific Docker registry key and the specific registry address. The main idea of the platform that all the images by default, they should be stored inside the platform. So finally, you will use you can just export all the images the platform use and put it into a private registry, and it should be able to running just from this. Right now, we have no capacity for writing Docker files for everything. And but finally, it should look like this. For example, we have Cilium image. And for Cilium, we have this Docker file. It also adds some specific patch, which we currently use by our platform. This is simple to maintain. You can rebuild it from the local registry or from local repository with a single command. And finally, when you build all the platform, every package like Cilium, every package here should have images stored locally on the same registry as Cozystack use. Another purpose of this that we don't want to rely that external repository will always be available. There are such opportunities that maintainers can change tags or remove the old ones that are not always working. But change source code, it is always possible. So it would be nice to store all the data, all the images here. I saw your pull request.
Yeah, I was thinking about more about regarding just images, just how they are built. I was thinking about those metadata files, which store exactly the digest of the image and stuff. I was thinking from the point of view of a customer. For example, if he wants to rebuild it to some custom registry, so he will have like for every project, he will have this file alternated, and he would need to somehow support it, either out to git ignore or do some stuff like that. And I was thinking maybe we could just move those files to one single large file, maybe, just kind of a bill of materials, you know? And for example, we could store images for different architectures there and make just kind of a big JSON file, which will lie in the root of our project and would be somehow, so the charts would be somehow templated from those files. What do you think about it?
I like this, personally, I like this idea. I think it might be a specific config map, which holding all the images in use by the platform. The only question is how to consume this config map, or how to consume this single JSON which you want to store in registry, in repository, sorry. Right now we have this ugly method which just overrides original templates and provides opportunity to read the those files. I think I more rather go with the way you propose it for writing this output information into a values file. So most of the charts already supporting this for specifying custom images. So instead of creating those files in images JSON and tag, we can just generate and specify those images in values files. I like this idea. Another problem that the issue you're trying to solve to let users to override this registry. I think we can use I think we have to provide such opportunity like global option where you can, for example, in Cozystack configuration, you can specify the registry should be used for pulling all the images.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how can you pass it into. All right.
Okay, I got it. So there is a hard question, and I think I'll maybe get some POC done in the week.
Yeah, I think I know the answer to this question. So we have to specify in values file For every package, we have to have in values file 2 options. The first one should specify the image name and image tag and digest, and one which is used for specifying registry where it should be pulled from. And when we're templating platform chart, it creates all the Flux releases, and it can also pass the information from which registry the images should be pulled from. So there will be default value, and also we can provide the opportunity for the user for specifying right registry, and Flux will just pass it through to the every applied Helm release. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I thought about that myself. One more option for me was to override values for Helm releases from inside the bundle YAML itself. So we can specify a number of values there, and we can override even images or some values inside the charts in the bundle.
Right now we have such opportunity already.
Yeah. So I thought that we could have like a hosted bundle or something like that. Hosted private bundle, for example. Yeah, and there would be huge pieces of values YAML just overriding the registries and images and stuff.
I think we don't have to have multiple overrides. We can just specify the core registry where these images should be pulled from. For example, right now they are pulled from hcr.io, .ionix.io, Cozystack. So there should be an option right here, for example, base registry. And we can replace this URL to something, I don't know.
Registry local, for example.
Yeah. And all the images which are in use by this platform, they will be pulled from this registry actually. But in this way, we really need to replace this ugly method for updating images by the templates and provide some generator which will, after building all the images, will put correct values into the into values
into
file.
charts. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, in values file. So there should be always the image name, digest, and tag.
Okay. So, okay, I got it. I will prepare something.
You can prepare POC just in using JQ, for example, or YQ. Then we can think about how can we replace it.
Okay.
The next question, do you have any questions or ideas for this one? Okay, I would like also add Flux CD premium enterprise images. That's my question to the you, Kindon. If you could be satisfied by this implementation, so we can provide the option for Flux CD to specify custom values, and you can let your users to just provide specific values to use Flux Enterprise.
Yes, I think that makes a lot of sense. If you had a way to override in this config map the image registry only for Flux, that would enable the value proposition of the operator and the enterprise images, which is to get updates to the users as fast as possible, including CVE fixes and things that wouldn't be in the upstream rapid response. I know you all talked about Helm a lot, and I thought that the Helm template issue is very interesting because Helm is obviously very tightly integrated in Flux, but that comes with its own set of pains as well. So you've probably heard of Timony, maybe not. Stefan Pradhan also created this Q-Lang derivative that's meant to be a Helm competitor.
Was it how Flux?
Timoni. Timony.
Yeah, so this repository, I tried to
Yes,
understand
it's in here,
and I didn't get.
So just since we were talking about the possibility of another templating engine, I thought I might as well mention this because Stefan's put a lot of work into it. I don't know a lot about it myself. I haven't had that much luck other than learning to deploy Flux all in one, which did make a lot of sense actually when I learned to do that. But I haven't built any Timony charts for my own applications. That's been a bucket list item for a while that's just been put off.
Yeah, I got it.
I can't speak to the end user experience.
So you want to add this language support into Cozystack, or
I'm not sure if that would be attractive or not, but just if you're thinking about replacing Helm with something, I would be remiss if I didn't mention it.
Got it. I would say about Helm that we choose this. I also like different languages, and I don't like Helm very much. But the problem is that Helm is industry standard.
Yeah.
And
Helm support in Flux isn't going anywhere. It's GA now, so.
Yeah, and one of the points for using Helm and not using something else. Personally, I like JSONnet, but it doesn't matter. Is that everyone can come to the registry, to the repository, and see, wow, it is fully built just of the ordinary Helm charts. Cool. I can help and I can contribute to it.
100%. The developer experience of Cozystack. I would actually like to do more public service announcements about the developer experience of Cozystack because I've really enjoyed onboarding to learn how to contribute.
That's funny because we have no even development documentation. But
well,
you're right.
Given me the smallest pointers, and I don't know how effective an onboarding experience it would be for someone who wasn't deeply steeped in Helm. But as a Flux maintainer, it makes a lot of sense to me.
Got it. Anyway, if you're interested in such opportunities, I can make some speech for you. For example, we can make I don't know, meetup or online, offline, as you wish. Just let me know about such opportunities.
Great.
And as about what we were talking about, yeah, about different languages. Don't you want to talk about this PR? I merged two of your pull requests into this Flux update, and I created the third one, which should a little bit update it for matching the Cozystack other applications logic. If you could review this, I think we can merge it all together.
I'd be happy to. I may not be able to get to it today, but so far I haven't seen anything I didn't like in here. I saw you merged some of my PRs. Thank you, and I will review it as soon as I get around a chance.
Okay, thank you. Anyway, I've tested all this your changes on this Flux operator. For now, it works as a charm. There were some issues still don't like idea how we're using these variables. We just stealing them from Cozystack deployment, but I think we can find the better option later. At least it can be done by implementing.
The lucky thing, I think, is that we don't really need the Flux all-in-one approach because Flux operator is doing very little work. So it just needs to be online enough to deploy the CRDs, and then we can get along with the business of setting up Cilium so that everything else can proceed. But my experiments with the Flux operator, I found this makes things very much faster, especially when you can apply the customizations to Flux regarding concurrency, and the whole deployment goes about 5 times faster, I would say. Depending on your network, it might be a lot faster.
Is it because of update for newer version of Flux, or is it just because of using operator?
It's really just because of concurrency. The reason I wanted to deploy the operator in the first place was so that you could enable customizations. If you look through the Flux guide, one of the first things in the installation notes is about customizing the Flux manifests. And it's always been a little bit clunky because you had to go in and edit customized.yaml in a folder full of files that all said do not edit except for customized.yaml. So you had to be very adventurous and you had to read the docs. And now it's a spec element. You can just use according to very simple docs, and it doesn't require that you're using Bootstrap. So again, that's another obstacle for many users. We like people to use Bootstrap, but not everyone does. And Cozystack is a great example of where you wouldn't want that. Because the definition should be managed from upstream. So,
correct. Well, great. I'm happy to using it because the next step would be to split one Flux CD instance to 3 or even 4 different Flux instances. And by the way, I would like to ask if it's possible to split it not only with selecting specific applications by labels. Is it possible to enable concurrent handling of these Helm releases without specifying by multiple Flux instances without?
You mean like a sharding where you don't have to label instances at all, and it's for scaling purposes, so you get the number of shards that you need for horizontal scaling purposes. That is not currently implemented as far as I'm aware of, but that is definitely one of the discussions that we've had. So the guide to horizontal scaling here does not have the answer that you're looking for in it. There's not yet. But we've hypothesized the idea of a controller. The thing that we've found is that people aren't using this or didn't imagine using it for the same purposes that we expected they would use it. And the main purpose that you need sharding for is if you're going to start mounting secrets in Flux controllers for IAM purposes or for access to tenantized resources, then the Flux instance becomes bound to a tenant. And then you need more of them. So that was the purpose, the intended direction of scaling with shards. But we've also found many like large companies that want to use Flux that just want to scale a single Flux tenant up to infinity, and they really have no interest in labeling individual tenants and cataloging the performance of individual tenants separately. They just want everything to scale up to infinity. So that's not currently implemented, but that's definitely a goal for future. I'm not sure where it is on the roadmap, if it's on the roadmap at all.
I just found that it is an interesting idea to run specific Flux instance for every tenant. and we can simply implement it.
Yeah, it would make a lot of sense to do it that way. I think the docs were designed to coax you towards doing it that way. So if it makes sense to you, then that will probably be one less roadmap item for us. But
we have such opportunity. So when we create when you create new tenant in Cozystack, it creates namespace with attached label to it. And all the applications created under this tenant, even other namespaces, they using the same label. So we can, for example, create tenant in tenant in tenant, and the third tenant will run Kubernetes cluster, which will use etcd of the upper level tenant.
yeah, when you want to start using flux sources and encryption is when you really need this approach for a multi-tenant cluster.
I think we can just enable this option for, so when you create a new tenant, you have to enable monitoring, ingress, and etcd. Do you remember this?
Yes.
In this way, we can also add option for creating specific Flux controller. So it will be up to user if he wants to have separate Flux for tenants or if he doesn't want.
I love that. And I think that a lot of the features that we're looking for will probably go into the Flux operator roadmap, where they might not have made it in the Flux roadmap before.
Okay, cool. Thanks for information. I would like to move the next meeting to the Wednesday, if anybody doesn't mind. So I will just move it. Okay. And Nikita also wrote about keeping Docker images metadata.
Yeah, I think that is just what we discussed previously.
Yeah. I also found interesting thing about using buildx. So this PR, if you can see, the metadata file also has been changed.
Yeah, I've just noticed it myself, like yesterday or something. And they have environment variable that can a bit minimize it, but it will add some fields to it, however.
Yeah, this is just because of this command. So by default, buildx using Docker context, which does not provide this information. If you create a new context with Docker buildx create before you start building your images, the tag is always written on the same metadata file. So I think we can at least get rid of these files, which containing just tag, and just parsing this metadata. But even better if we can take this metadata and convert somehow to values files. So we need some tool which can parse this JSON and put correct digest and images into the values file. I think it can be done by YQ or some small program written on Go or Python.
The file actually looks pretty simple. I think it just corutils can make that.
I don't like idea of parsing JSON with corutils.
Okay, I got it.
at least, or even editing YAMLs by corutils. I think it is always pain in the ass.
Yeah, yeah, that's not.
It's.
There are better ways.
I think. Yeah. In this way, I think it is better to add one more dependency for developer. It shouldn't be problem for installing small tool just for updating these images. I think we already depend on YQ in some scenarios for running make update or something like that. So it's up to you. The main idea is it is always great to holding it into values YAML. I like this idea. We can even probably create another one, or no, it's better to use the single one because the Helm uses it by default.
Okay, I'll think about how we can manage this, and I think I will make a POC and show on our next meeting maybe.
Okay, I just fixed this. And here we are. Do you have any extra questions? We can check pull requests. And we are probably already talk about all of them. Yeah, Kingdom, have you solved your issue with KubeOVN? Do you need help with this?
I don't think I have any issues with KubeOVN at the present. I pulled your fixes at one point, and I think the 0.7 release is the current release. I don't have any problems with the current release.
That's weird. So you just updated it to latest release and it started working? Or what you've changed?
My one issue was that I was not setting the cluster domain properly, where I had it set in the config map and I had just copied and pasted it from the installation notes, and not really taking account of what I had done. So I had to set the matching domain in Flux, and then that worked fine.
Yeah, I got it. Well,
Yep.
okay, if you'll have any issues, just let me know. I'll try to help you. Bug scrap. No bugs, just issues.
Hey guys, I have just one question, which I really didn't know how it works, regarding images in different architectures. So for example, if I make a Docker pull from an ARM computer, how does it determine which image to pull? Does image have some field in it?
There is some confusion because of this, because the Docker wasn't designed to support multi-arch by default. So for now, there is workaround. Every Docker command, when you're running some container, for example, Docker run, you can specify platform. And you can specify you want to use AMD or ARM. It will use these images by default. If you don't specify this, it will pull images according to your existing context. So there are Docker contexts, ls, and this command will output you all the created contexts. So you can even create Docker, which will execute commands remotely over SSH. This is very useful in case if you're building something and you have powerful machine, which can do this faster. But after all, depending on your context, if you use it on your personal computer, it will output you your default context. If you're using Docker for Mac, you can use both flags. So it can be ARM or AMD, and two different virtual machines will be created. How it works for Docker itself? So by default, when you're pushing images to the repository, this image supports just the single architecture. If you want to create multi-arch image, you have to create it this way. So you specify that you create in Docker registry, you create new tag. This tag will include manifests for these three different architectures. So finally, it is like fake Docker image, which includes manifests for all the architectures. If you are using Docker buildx, we use it in Cozystack. It is doing this automatically. When you specify platforms you want to build the image itself. So this flag is changing behavior. Previously, we were building just single image for default architecture and pushing it into Docker registry. Now it will build 2 images for different architecture and 1 common image, which will link all of them.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
I'm glad that I can explain it. If you have any questions, just answer me. Ask me. I'll answer. Do we have any other questions?
Yeah. What about this PR about hard-coded bundle?
About what?
Hard-coded bundle. When I
This one.
yes, when I develop a new bundle, my bundle not parsed, and we will need to decide how we develop how we name it, these bundles with some suffixes or prefixes.
We need some proposal. Previously, those names were created just out of my mind, and they might be not so good. So if you have better idea how to name these bundles, you're free to do this. I think that those bundles shouldn't be named somehow specific, using specific rule. The bundle name is just key, which is very understandable for the user. So just looking on other projects, for example, CVDFS, they have also this community opportunity for pushing the new methods for using backends. If I remember it correct, it should be here. All right, it's here. So your community, as community user, you can create your own backend driver for CVDFS. Doesn't matter what exactly is it needed for. So there is just tool and there is configuration which you can provide to the user. I think we would like to go the same way. Even different implementations, for example, Redis 2, Redis 3 is just 3 different implementations. So we can even have bundle full, which will named somehow differently and will be used for the configuration. I don't like idea to use some specification for the naming. But if you have any idea, you're free. I'm free for this. And yes, and as about this construction, it was done just because of this, because there might be different full bundle, which is not depending on Cilium. For example, full bundle which installs what else? Viv network or something like that. So I would like. Sorry, what?
I heard you said WeaveNet, so I had to shout out for WeaveNet.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to
was
have
maintained again. So just so you know.
Yeah, I just took something from my mind. It can be Calico or something else. So I would like to keep this opportunity for anyone for creating new bundles. And I would like to keep all those bundles explicitly specified in this installation script. because it should be understandable for users. I think we can replace it with case sentence, so we can specify it like this. But I don't like the start here, so we have to specify two different options. For example, if it's PaaS full and if it's distro full, so it will use Cerium to apply.
Okay, I can add some changes to this. Yeah.
Thank you. Do you have any other questions? In this way, going once, going twice. And thank you, anyone, for attending this meeting. See you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.